Happy Halloween, everyone. For those of you who celebrated, I hope you had a very fun celebration. I'm a little tipsy while making this video, but Pewdiepie has released another art progress update and it's actually very impressive. Quick recap, he started this as more of a fun thing to do, but because of the support he received and more importantly because he found drawing fun, he stuck to it. He's now officially one of us. Except, you know, he's actually made it in life and has money. But that aside, drawing every day for 365 days is not something I've accomplished myself, and I'm gonna be honest, big props to him for staying committed.
I realize, and maybe other people have said this too, but drawing is more about training your brain to see rather than actually technical with your hand. I think that's a misconception I had.
Absolutely, I think it's pretty common. Yeah, it's a pretty common trap artists fall into, especially when they're starting out. I mean, I sometimes fall into it as well nowadays, but essentially what you want to train yourself to do is see the overall shape and then break it down, right? Big to small, chip away at it. It's a very important skill to have.
But after 30 days, this was the progress of my first video. I was so happy with it, and I think I should be.
You know what? After 30 days, that's really fucking good. I mean, look at that pistol, not the one at the top. Okay, forget that one. The one at the bottom right. It's really good perspective work as well.
So this is my progress after 82 days, 84. And I really think here's where I peaked in terms of if you wanted to just improve as much as possible in the shortest time. I think just adding colors on papers is so satisfying to look at that it kind of forgives a lot of the anatomy errors, the poor line work, the sketches still being there. Like, it's just nice to look at regardless.
Nah, man, the line work is actually pretty good. Way better than I could do. I personally don't bother with line work. And I think it's pretty fair to say that a lot of artists find ways to hide their mistakes. I know I find ways to do it. But I wanted to touch on the thing you said about peaking. Personally speaking, I think some people will agree with me here. Lots of artists believe they peak at some point and think they won't get any better, but that's not true at all. Maybe for some, but that feeling is all part of the journey, right? Perfectly normal. Having that mindset of, you know, saying in your head that this isn't my final form is really important, and seeing how Pewdiepie has stuck to this whole art thing, he's only going to get better from up here.
First of all, don't do what I did. I just kept drawing the same things. Anime girl, too much anime. Just bad.
That too is also perfectly normal, and while I understand the mindset, I actually personally think it's alright to draw the same thing over and over again if it's the goal. You know, nope, that's not what it says on the script. It's alright to draw the same thing over and over again if it's, you know, your comfort zone, but I also think it really helps a lot with developing muscle memory and drawing that specific thing a lot better. But if you want to broaden your art skills, you know, if that's your goal, it's only going to harm your progress if you refuse to draw anything else, right? But if that, you know, if that's the only thing you want to draw to, that's fine. Draw whatever you want. Draw what makes you happy, and there's nothing wrong with that. And look at that, he's only getting better at drawing the anime girl face, and he's definitely getting it down. And that's not an insult, it's a genuine compliment, okay? And the line weight too, whew, looks a lot better. Damn, look at the expression in those eyes. Deadly. Like a killer. You know what, these are actually very impressive, and I think Pewdiepie is single-handedly motivating other artists to start drawing too. I don't know, maybe it's just me. One thing I'm noticing with Pewdiepie's drawings, and I don't know if he's drawing this from like one-to-one from reference, it doesn't matter, okay, but it's that he's starting to implement the illusion of detail in the clothes. And there are like these creases over here and there, and he doesn't overdo it either. It's very impressive. It's very difficult, you know, as a beginner artist to not overdo things.
So I bought this pen. This pen is amazing. It's a brush pen, and if you squeeze it, ink comes out, and you can draw really slim lines or really thick lines really quickly. And I told myself I was gonna force myself to use this pen, even though it looks like shit. I was gonna really, like, I'm gonna use this pen. I need to learn how to draw without the whole circle thing again. At least that's what I wanted to do. So I did some manga panels, and yeah, it feels like I'm looking at a manga. It's really cool. Getting more comfortable. It's still so hard with proportions, man. Like, anything is slightly off, it's gonna suck.
God damn, holy shit, bro, he might think he's not improving, but this is actually extremely impressive. Absolutely love the bottom too. And all that without, you know, guidelines? That's very impressive.
But what I should have been doing is draw other things as well. I started drawing manga panels, I started drawing perspective, and I wanted to understand these things. drawing landscapes. This is Nihei. I love his work so much.
You know what? I love to see it. I love seeing someone who initially started drawing just for the lols or for fun. You know, it's look at him now. He wants to draw. He wants to draw things outside of just faces, and now he's drawing landscapes, taking inspiration from other artists. Love seeing an artist broaden their scopes. You know, it's one of the most satisfying things to see, especially when they're just starting out. Good on you, Pewdiepie.
I should have done this ages ago. So I picked up a couple art books, some more technical than others. I picked up books about perspective because I want to learn and I want to understand this. And I think finally that clicked in me. It went from me just wanting to sketch whatever to, no, I actually want to understand these things so I can draw them better.
Yep, he's off the deep end now, and welcome. In my opinion, what makes art so satisfying, I can't clearly define it, but there's definitely something vindicating about being able to clearly target areas that you know need improvement, and you know, by reading books or watching tutorials about how to do it, practicing, and then comparing that to your previous drawing, and then seeing the immediate results, compared side to side, right? It's very, very vindicating and satisfying to see, knowing that you did it yourself without the help of, you know, AI.
It feels embarrassing to admit this, but like everyone was so amazed by my 101 that I felt like, okay, well, my year one has to be really good, right? Like, but progress isn't a straight line. Like, I think I was being too hard on myself, where I was getting close to a year and I'm like, I don't have anything to show for it. I drew a full body one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
And I'm like comparing it to my 80-day one, and I'm like, the 80-day one, it's still better. Even though it's just like full body, it's still better.
You know, it's absolutely normal for an artist to go through this at least like 10 times, and I also think for him this is a little bit of a confirmation bias because of how well received his 80-day drawing was. Not saying it's a bad thing, right? But when you have so many people praising you for that piece, especially when you're as big as Pewdiepie, that feeling is going to amplify. Honestly speaking though, his preference of the headshot is probably because of how much practice he's put into doing those, so obviously it's going to look better. It's also probably because it's a little more detailed compared to the full body drawing, but that's because you're zoomed into the face, right? Full body drawings are a little tricky, and if you've only just started drawing those, it's very easy to see the imperfections and be hard on yourself. If you're if you're going through what Pewdiepie is going through here, I would say don't be too hard on yourself, right? It's all part of the process. I go through this stuff as well, and I'm just, I'm a hobby artist, but professional artists, I'm sure, go through this as well, and it is definitely a frustrating feeling, but with practice, you're just going to get better, right? He does seem to be pretty good at proportions too, so props to that.
It really felt like, oh, cool, like I drew for this much, and I don't have anything to show for it.
Okay, yeah, sure, nothing to show for it, but look at those hand drawings, phenomenal. I know it's a bit of a meme at this point, but lots of artists, believe it or not, struggle with drawing hands, but god damn, those are really nice drawings of hands.
I felt genuinely in me like, I can do more. I know I can do more. I know I can do better, and I really wanted that to show, so I really did push myself a lot towards the end here, and that's when I bought an iPad.
Oh shit, here we go. He's finally joined the digital art tribe. Welcome to the Control Z Nation.
So I started off just sketching, and I was still too scared to draw bodies. I drew this, which I thought was going to be amazing, and I ended up really hating it. I think the colors are fun, but I didn't know how to draw hair. I at least tried to draw like a full body, but I was so scared of getting it wrong that I think I just made it look weird. Look,
we all start somewhere. I remember the very first time I drew on Clip Studio Paint, it looked absolutely fucking terrible. But this is actually a pretty good attempt. He has a good sense of basic color theory, something which I couldn't pull off when I first started.
And then I thought, okay, I'm gonna really wow you guys. I started the line work. I tried my best to draw the actual hands. This is gonna be so good, and this is the end result, and I genuinely hate looking at it. I've looked at it so much, it just pisses me off. Even now, I don't want to. In my head, it was gonna be so much more.
Yep, that's how it usually goes, but honestly, not too shabby for having picked up Procreate and learning digital in such a short amount of time.
I desperately tried to draw something else because I don't know, like I felt like I could do more, but I kept drawing and I couldn't. Like it just came out looking weird and unsatisfying. This was supposed to be like the most simplest thing ever, like black high contrast with some color, Still, I didn't like it.
Ooh, I kind of like the vibes of this one. The one with the blue background, I mean, it's vibes. I don't know, it might be me because I really like the color blue, but I'm not speaking for him here, but I think the reason why he dislikes this one is because of the lost details on the clothing. I don't like giving advice when it's unwarranted, but allow me this one, okay? But what I would say for the final is to maybe add a secondary light source or some bounce lights somewhere in front of the character to bring back some of that detail. Because right now it looks like, you know, the hand, it could be anyone's hand, right? Maybe it's the thing holding up her hand from Annen's family. And adding that secondary source of light in front of that character will probably help with that sense of depth. I don't know if that makes sense. One thing I will say though is that he's definitely got the anime girl face and eyes down. Especially the eyes, really love them. I'm willing to bet right now that if he starts an Instagram art account, he's gonna succeed pretty fucking easily. My accent just came out right over there.
So I sketched for a couple days, and I told myself I'm gonna give one last effort. I have to really like it to actually sketch it. And this is the last thing I drew. I finished it yesterday, and I think I'm finally happy with it.
Hey, did he watch a Ross Draws tutorial? Is that glow on the hair though? Woo-wee! You know what? It's probably not a Ross Draws tutorial, but it's something about the way the hair glows that kind of reminds me of Ross Draws. I don't know, it's just me, okay? Don't come at me, please.
I finally drew clothes that isn't just black, and I actually put some more time into the hair and like making the lines look nice and small little details and having the high contrast light. Maybe it's wrong, but it's there at least, and I think it makes it more interesting, you know, with some shadows and different pose, you know, all of it. I think I'm finally happy with it. I think for a year progress, yeah. Am I allowed to be happy?
I would say, yeah, absolutely. You deserve to be happy. I think anyone in the art community would agree. You know, at least a majority of us would agree, I hope. And one thing that's so wholesome about this series is seeing a newbie artist slowly improve over time. It's so satisfying to see. We see the fruits of his work, his confidence growing, and you can see him stepping out of his comfort zones, trying out new things, even though he knows it's gonna suck. And I think that's a really important mindset to have. It's important to know that you will start somewhere at some point, right? And then, you know, that point is going to definitely suck, but you're just going to improve over time. And that's all part of the process, right? See, say what you want about Pewdiepie. I've watched his content on and off since he started. Okay, I think he's done some not so good stuff, but I must say that this arc is definitely one of my favorites. It's like his redemption arc. And if his art series proves anything, it's that talent is a myth and that it takes a lot of solid and intentional practice. Not like what others would have you believe. In conclusion, fuck yeah. Anyway, if you need something to get your ass drawing, definitely watch his video. I know I'm gonna draw something today. And I love seeing PewDiePie's progress updates on his art journey. I love seeing it. I hope he continues to do it. And maybe I hope he opens up an art account. I don't know. I personally would love to see more pieces by him. Anyway, that's it for the video. See ya.